another video journaling session. Today is February 23rd, 2022. So we just crossed over the 2/22/22 portal vortex. A lot of energy. I had a great day today. Very mystical. Felt the Neptunian Pisces energy. And as I was getting ready I was asked to write a bio on myself, which is it's not the first time, but it's always been a difficult thing for me to do because there's so many different facets of me, so many different elements that I can add in, and a bio it's a promotional piece for energy healing, for work that I do. However, there's a lot. So I realized, people really don't know anything about me. Maybe I'll just talk about myself very briefly, because there are a few reasons why I have a difficult time in not only writing my own biography, but how do I say, working within groups, dynamics, and it doesn't matter if it's spiritual, if it is just a community, and it's not that I have a problem with that. I believe it is the dynamic. There's always a power play there that really I'm very sensitive to. So I will reverse and start to talk about a little bit about myself. Highly empathic, extremely sensitive to energy, always have been. I was born, my parents were both 19 when I was born, and I was born in November 9th, 1971 at 3:33 in the morning. Very auspicious time to be born into this world. So there was something that I always knew about me was different than others around that would seek each other for comfort in similarities. I actually needed to step back from that and know that I was different. But I also, always as a human, also seek to have people in my life to commune with harmoniously, which has been a good portion of my journey that I've been very successful in. However, I've had a lot of challenges. So what I wanted to talk about first was first impressions and the way that we assume things about each other. So if you look at me, and I'm not speaking on an egoic level, I'm just explaining myself from not only what I've been told by others, but just my own observation. I am different. I do have a specific energetic blueprint that can make some people feel uncomfortable. But the only reason that is those who feel uncomfortable around me is because I can read you. I can see right through what mask you're trying to portray, or the character you're trying to portray. I see right through that, and energetically people know that about me. So it hasn't been an easy journey, but I want to go a little deeper there, because we've all been born to this planet very innocent and very connected to our higher selves and our spirit guides and the earth and everything. However, then we were instantly also put into a dreamlike state or amnesia of some sort with the conditioning and programming that our innocent parents and teachers and society and others wanted to mold and shape us to. Now, there are those of us who are just unmoldable, unshapeable, or so we think. I've definitely been one of those. That is my saving grace for sure. However, and I always knew that I could, what I saw, how I see people, their auras, their energy, and the words, just my psychic abilities have always been online. Always. It wasn't though until, so I was taken through many different ups and downs through life. And if you look at me, just at face value or first impressions, first appearances, a lot of people who don't read my energy or want to get to know who I really am will take things at face value and assume, oh, this is just some pretty girl who's gonna always be treated nice because she's pretty. That's definitely number one illusion there. Always going to just have it right. So like, I actually was kind of hated by a lot of people for no reason other than what I look like or the energy that I present, which is of love and happiness and joy. That really pisses a lot of people off, believe it or not. So I took a beating most of my life and attracted many narcissists into my life. At a very young age, I was also put through the ringer with adult men as a child, trying to take advantage of me. So I've had a lot of traumatic experiences in that respect. My main message to most people is to not take appearances don't assume you know someone just by the way you're seeing them at face value. A lot of the challenges that I have had to overcome in life and go through, most would not be able to go through. I've had 3 near-death experiences. One where I was resuscitated back into life. I've had numerous physical challenges, and at one point in my life was told that I may not walk again, which I am walking. Yeah, I don't want to go and spell out my whole journey, but I do want to just say that I have had the entire gamut of life challenges thrown at me throughout life, and never quite understood why. And they were really difficult, yet difficult in other people's eyes more so than in my inside of me. They were difficult, but when other people even hear of some of the things that I have experienced and come out of, are like, I can't believe you're still alive, or you're still here, or you're still standing. Those are the reactions. And so it wasn't that bad for me. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, how we all have been pulled into the darkness, the dark ages. For me, I have very vivid memories of when that actually happened, and I've had a lot of insight as to why. So aside from my childhood really being challenged in multiple ways, especially with adult men, I also was responsible for taking care of my siblings at a very young age, and had a lot of responsibility put onto me at a very young age, which has helped and hindered me on my journey to understand the difference between like who I'm really responsible for at this point in life. But going back to the darkness, my very vivid memories of losing myself would be, it was shortly after my dad had died. And I had a son. I have a son. He was about 10 at that time. I was a single mom. and I had a full-time job, a very challenging and a lot of responsibilities with my job, and a very strict and hard to deal with boss. Or I don't want to say hard to deal with. Well, for most people found it hard to deal with him. Later in life, I found out, about the narcissists that come into my life to challenge me as well. So throughout that, my father, he died of liver cirrhosis, and I was with him through that whole journey, 33 days in the hospital, and that was really intensely traumatic. So shortly after, I did have to sell his home and reconcile his business. I'm the oldest of all of my siblings, and his will, for whatever reason, wasn't considered legal in the state of Delaware, because of notary things, whatever. I was made the executor of his estate in a huge family of people who were way more qualified to do that than me, which I did have guidance from aunts and whatnot. But it was a lot. And being a mother, which was always my top priority, it always has been, family, children, my son specifically, top priority, was taken away from him for mentally, emotionally, physically for a month, and it took a toll on me as well. So shortly after that, and I don't want to say names, but those of you who know me do know me. My sister had introduced me to my then husband, who I ended up marrying and had a great life with him. No, I will never speak a bad word about anybody in his family or him. It just was not an energetic fit perfectly. I couldn't see that at the time because I was in a vulnerable state. I was in a very different state, and I kind of had lost a good piece of me while that relationship started up. So it seemed very natural and organic at the time, which is where my journey had to take me. So fast forward to 2012. 2012 was a very key year for me personally because my son had then left to go to college. He was really a big portion of my life, and I felt like I lost a piece of me. At the same time, I had gone through a lot of transitions within my professional life. My boss, who was very, very difficult and challenging in my life when my dad was dying, and I had been with that company for 8 years or so, started to make sexual advances towards me. So here's replaying the childhood trauma all over again. And I did remove myself from that job at that situation and did everything that I could for my own justice in that situation as well, which I was very successful. I was able to put myself through beauty school because I thought, well, I don't have a chance in hell in being back in a career in the profession I was in with the situation that I had just gone through, because my boss was also the owner of the company and also knew every other company tied in with that type of business. So went to beauty school, thought, why not? Just give me something to do. And I had fun. I had great experience there, and had a lot of amazing opportunities. I went to Vegas and met all of the key Paul Mitchell players within that company and organization. The universe definitely blessed me through all that. However, with my back, I had been having a lot of back pain and spinal problems and multiple car accidents. The one key one that actually had me diagnosed with certain major spinal ailments was getting hit head on by another car on my way to work with the job from the narcissistic boss that I ended up suing and winning. But when I was hit head on, it was right after my siblings and I had cleared out my dad's home and sold that. And I had buckets and bins of change that he had collected over the years in my trunk. Forgot about it. So when I was hit head on, all of the seats flew down and I was pummeled with change. I had welts all over my body. And this boss showed up. I had, told the ambulance I don't need to go to the hospital. And he picked me up to take me to work because there were people there waiting to do a demonstration. It was like I was in so much pain. My head, everything was swollen, and I had to go to work. Shortly after that, I was like, I need to go home or to the doctor, which I did end up getting medical treatment and found out that I had several herniated discs and some severe damage in my spinal, my low back especially, but from my neck down, a lot of damage to my central nervous system, which I was already aware of. There was a lot of scar tissue there too, so it was old injuries as well. So fast forward 8 years from that head-on collision, this spinal pain had become so debilitating to me. But I really pushed through as much as I could, did everything I could to really ease the pain and work through and live through it. Had seen multiple specialists and surgeons and doctors, and I was terrified of having anybody cut me open or do surgery on me. So I just kept putting it off. And one day, working in the salon, something snapped in my back. I heard it too, and my discs had erupted and causing some not only severe pain, but my leg would not move. I couldn't lift it up or down or walk with it. I left the salon, drove myself home. It must have been my left leg. So I could drive home, and it just went downhill from there. So we had found a surgeon that could do surgery on me without any implants, or I have no foreign objects in my body. There was something intuitive that just kept telling me, they can do what they can do, but do not put anything foreign, especially in my spinal area. So I found somebody who works on the Eagles players. There was a very key surgeon that kind of appeared. And so I had the surgery. I remember coming out of surgery, hearing that there was a lot more damage done in there than any scans were showing. So they were going to have to keep me for a while. And it was quite the long healing journey from that point on. But the most complicated for me really was because I was determined that, I will walk again and I will be out of this pain too. But I was on a lot of medications that my body became very reliant on. Some were for nerve damage, others were for pain. So I was on opioid pain management for many, many, many years. Most people did not know this about me because I was very able to still function and be who I am. So that was a sort of a suffering in silence that I had going on with myself. Obviously, my family was aware. My husband was aware. I had a box. I called it my grandma box, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I had all the pills, so I did it all right. I didn't always do it right because sometimes that pain would really take over, and I still didn't understand energy at this point in time and how energy was playing through my body. I fell into more of an induced coma state from these medications. Really lost myself to the degree it got scary, actually. It wasn't until 2017 that I had my first Kundalini awakening moment, which for those of you who don't know what that is, I highly suggest researching and learning about it. But it is how the energy is stored and it stays dormant at the base of your spine until it is time to waken up. And I don't know if it was the surgery, if it was my circumstances, situations, whatever it was, something woke this energy up inside of me and I went crazy. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was losing my mind. So going through Dark Night of the Soul, going through many other challenges as well. And there was another key player that came into my life at that point in time to really trigger that awakening further for myself, which certainly worked. And I ended up fully waking up, all of my senses, psychic senses galore, and it was really scary and jarring and traumatic at first. I ended up leaving my husband, my home, my everything, my job. I left it all and did not know what I was doing, but I knew that I had to do whatever was pulling me to feel better. So I ended up moving into a townhouse by myself. In the first 3 months of it, I was determined to get off of these medications I was on. I did not want to be dependent on anything or anyone. This is when I was really tapping into my intuitive senses, and I was guided to I was following my internal guidance. I was guided to purchase tuning forks. I was guided to purchase singing bowls. Sound frequency healing was the first modality that I used on myself. I didn't even know it was such a thing until I discovered it. And then once I discovered it, I started to meet other healers that use sound frequency as a modality, which is one of my very favorites. I'm also a musician and a very big fan of music. It is my saving grace here on the planet. Music and dance, among other things, but those would be the two key for me. So from that point on, I'd already been practicing yoga. I was an instructor for many years with Pilates. I was aware of the physicalities of the body, but still learning about energy, learning about my energy. I was guided to crystals, and I just followed my internal guidance system, but it just continued to get stronger and stronger. These messages, these symbols, these signs, and I didn't understand. I was guided to tarot cards. And once I started playing with my first deck, was the original Rider-Waite, it instantly made sense. It instantly clicked in. I instantly had channeled communication, and it just kind of sparked from that point on and became this beautiful experience. However, I was still very shy and nervous to share this experience with any other human being. I was just experiencing all of this by myself. Did not talk about it to anybody. So, it took a few months, and then other people came into my life. They appear. New people appear energetically aligned with where I'm at there. So I had met more healers. I had become more involved. I became certified in aerial yoga. So, I did come out of my hermit mode and my dark night of the soul. I went through that all alone, which most people do, but it was very scary. And if I didn't have the faith, if I didn't fully trust myself and what I was being guided through, I literally would have checked myself into a mental health institution at that point in time. Trying to get off of opioids, trying to navigate life with no job now, and a rental home that I didn't know how I was going to pay for, and all of these energies swirling around me, all of this communication coming in. It was a lot, but I stuck with it. It was very scary. I stuck with everything that was so foreign to me, yet it wasn't, but it wasn't familiar. It wasn't comfortable. Now it's extremely comfortable. However, this is the point in me giving this message, is that first of all, try not to judge a book by its cover or make assumptions on first impressions or appearances, because most likely you're wrong and you may be missing out on learning something new about someone or yourself even. Also, from that point on, I had so many other gifts come online with the palms of my hands. It started with the heat coming off of the palms of my hands. I was familiar. I knew what this was. My mother is actually a trained and attuned Reiki master since I was young, so I was very familiar with what that was as well. And I knew when the palms of the hands were heated that I was holding that energy too. And I knew how, at this point, I had spent so much time alone, I was comfortable with channeling energy through me. Yet I still wasn't comfortable giving it out, which is where I'm at now. I'm becoming much more comfortable sharing my gifts, giving it out to others who need that. And as I was trying to get comfortable with sharing my gifts, I also had a lot of challenges come in that were reading the parts of me that were uncomfortable in that, the parts of me where I wasn't believed by other people. From a young age on up, those wounds were patterned and mirrored to me so many times. It made me want to go back into my shell over and over and over again, which I did. But then you can only do that for so long. The energy really takes over and you come back out again. Because you got to live. You got to just be, right? It's hard to be hidden behind, hide yourself when the energy gets really intense like that. So, where was I going with that? With Reiki. So the Reiki, the energetics were coming online strongly. So I decided, I was guided into, at this point we were in COVID lockdown. No, I'm sorry, we weren't. This is prior to that still. But I decided to go online, research more about what was happening through my body, and I ended up getting certified in Reiki and attuned Reiki level 1, level 2, level 3. However, I still question that as well, for myself anyway. There's a lot of people who I've born into a family of healers that are already, they know they're healers. They understand their energy and their gifts. And for the most part, I did too. I didn't trust them all the way because of the society and the status quo that was outside of me. However, in my own sanctuary of myself, I'm very comfortable with it. So the attunements and everything, I felt like I had been attuned when I was born, but I went along with it. And energy just channels through me, out of me, in me. Still learning a lot. But there are so many other gifts that have come online for me that are very strong. Yet I'm still finding comfort in how to express that outwardly, especially this time, this day and age. I have the ability to communicate with animals. They do talk to me. I have dialogue with them. And this is through telepathy. I can also do Reiki healing on humans and animals. I have a lot of gifts with plants. I can even bring certain plants to life, so to speak. What else? Nature speaks to me, especially the birds, the clouds, the sky. I'm a sky watcher. I get a lot of communication. I do know that I'm also a medium. I do speak with the other side, with dead people, with, my ancestors, but I pick up on others as well. Still not fully comfortable in sharing that with others quite yet. I don't know, maybe it's just my comfort level. I'm very comfortable in talking, dialoguing on my own, but when I deal with other humans, especially if they're in an emotional state, I find it, and it's my empath side, I find it tricky for me. Working through that. What other abilities? Communicating with animals, communicating with nature. I would consider myself a medium, specifically medical medium. I'm really picking up on a lot of people's physical ailments and what's going on in their body without them even really saying much at all, if anything. My favorite ability to utilize to help people, though, is to channel messages that are coming from the higher realms. And I tap into different realms, specifically with the Pleiadian constellation and that energy, also through my guides, my tribe, I call them, those that speak to me all the time, my higher self as well. I'm very comfortable, and I actually thoroughly enjoy channeling messages through me. Practicing energetic hygiene before and after, so I don't take on too much of the energy. And I enjoy using the cards. They help accentuate the messages, especially if I'm just doing general messages for collective readings right now. It really kind of adds extra to the readings. But the point is that every day I find that there are other gifts, there are other clairs that come online for me, and it's fun, it's interesting. The issue I find myself in right now, always have actually, is how do I utilize these gifts not only to help others, but to be able to generate an even energetic exchange, because it does take a lot of my personal energy to channel the messages that come through me, to channel energy for Reiki, all of that does take quite the toll. It is work. So, but there's something in me that I'm still working through. How do I charge for this? I don't fit into the spiritual community. I don't feel that, but I'm being shown that I actually do. It's a perception that from experiences that I've had in my past of judgment, because doesn't matter what community is, we're all humans. We all have an ego. We all have judgments and personalities, and one of my experiences in this lifetime that I'm really trying to overcome is the competitive nature that people feel when they come around me, and the not only wanting to compete, which I've had to question all the time because I'm not a competitor. I really didn't even play sports. That's how much I hated the competition energy. But the comparison as well, comparing. Another energy that really bugs me that I know has something to do with, if it's not this lifetime, it's a past life energy of mine that I need to get past. So I'm still working through the bugs of my own journey as well. I do what I can do. I do what I'm guided to do. And I really had to let go of all forms of control in my life. And prior to this, I was in complete control. My mind thought I was in complete control of my life and everybody else's. I was considered a planner. Everything was always in a row, ready to go. Now it's like I can't plan anything. I'll be invited to plan something from time to time, but I cannot really fully plan a whole lot. If I try to, if I do, it really, really takes a toll on me and never works out right. But if I allow myself to just go with the flow, where I'm guided and how I'm guided, it always ends up beautiful. So I had to get rid of that, as well as needing to have a steady job or income to live in this world. I am given what I'm needed when I need it in multiple different ways that I could never even think up that it would happen the way it happens. So trusting that is also been quite the challenge for me, but I've come a long way for sure. So the reason for this video, I guess, is, I'm still having a difficult time with the bio. Because this is something I do have to put out into the spiritual community about myself and about my gifts. And I feel like my gifts are so expanded and continue to keep expanding. I can't box them in. I can't box my gifts up into a category of any sort because it's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. which is what we all human beings are doing. So we probably should all try to stop categorizing ourselves, boxing ourselves in, labeling ourselves as this or that, or I can do this, I can do that. Yeah, we know what we can do right then and there. But if you open that energy up wider, you'd be amazed at what you can actually do that you don't even know you can do. So I'm hoping that humans take a giant leap, especially the humans that are already tapped in to the spiritual realms and in the spiritual community, trying to start a business or trying to get an entity starting. I mean, we have to kind of play the part and follow the rules to a degree. Do we? I don't know. This is new to me, but this is where I'm headed. I am getting a lot of more connections, newer, bigger, brighter connections. I'm being pulled and guided into multiple areas here in life, and the messages I continue, including today, big giant messages, are that we in this community that are awakened and online and in tune with our gifts need to come together, to work together, combine our energy and collaborate. This is an extremely important part of our evolutionary process moving forward. So it's no longer an individual journey. We are going to be needing to connect, combine, and understand each other, and really try not to categorize each other. There can be a great dialogue there, but I find myself very blocked or stopped. When I say stopped, it's not blocked, because I do know what I desire to do, what I'm comfortable doing, and I also am very open to whatever else happens or comes my way. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to really fully burst myself out into the world, knowing right now at face value, this is also a lesson for me, at face value, assuming that all of these retreats, resorts, these communities, these entities are open for transformation as well, because we all are transforming, opening, and evolving. I don't want to categorize myself. I will have to describe what gifts I'm going to utilize at that point in time, but to write a bio, I'd write a book. So it's really challenging for me. I'm sure I'll find something to say or write, but I wanted to just video journal this right now. Wondering how many others out there are struggling with this exact same thing for themselves, and being able to really put yourself out there. I haven't really put myself out there saying, hey, I can channel Reiki energy. I can give you Reiki energy healing. Hey, I can actually talk to animals. I can most likely help your animal heal its ailments, or human. I can tell you what your, loved ones passed away to the other side are saying. I can read all the stuff. It is overwhelming for me to actually just say, hey, I see what you don't see. Maybe someday you'll see it. It's hard. It's hard. And then to charge for that? I mean, these are life-shifting, life-changing, altering gifts to give. I find this human dynamic and this construct of categorizing and boxing in and labeling very interesting at this point in time in our stage of human evolution. No, not knocking it, but just an observation and something that I don't feel fully comfortable with yet. And there's a reason for that. I'm not sure exactly what that is yet. I know that I will get there eventually, but I want to be able to offer my vision, which is more of an open forum, an open invitation for healers, for people who are coming online or very, very fluid or understanding their gifts. Yeah, there's probably more that are coming online right now that maybe if you open yourself up a little bit more, you can come in connection with. We are going to be needed in a big way in the next few years coming, with humanity waking up and energy shifting. So it is important that we also have each other to work with each other together, because it is very draining on each and every one of us doing it individually. It's rewarding but draining. I know that when we combine our energy, that is much more powerful with the same intent. So it does have to be a collaboration. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I want to say, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm definitely not a spoiled little white girl who thinks she knows everything, which, that might have just been somebody's comment to me at one point that stuck with me, but that's not at all me. And I can assure you that I have gone through multiple life challenges that most would not can't even fathom going through. I don't want to go there. I just want everybody to know that it is challenging to get to this place. There are a lot of challenges that we have to overcome and go through to get to the healing point where all of our gifts come online. We have to shed all of the karma, all of the past, all of the everything. And it's all energy. We're all energy. We live in a world of energy, energetics. Our thoughts, our emotions, our energy. We create so much from past experience and past life experiences, which is another realm that I'm now being guided to go deeply into. And there's a part of me that's nervous about that too. I don't know why. But there's another big giant part of me that's explorative and excited to find out if what's in my mind's eye, the pictures, I have a lot of it, but I think I need help with somebody else helping connect it fully, or just confirming it fully for me. And I was guided to seek that as well, or that will come to me. So anyway, I think I'm rambling now. I don't know if I'm going to share this or not. We'll see how it goes. But thanks everybody for, taking the time to listen if you've gone this far. And that's all for now. I'll share more later. There's more. I'll go in more detail too. All right. Bye.